Ladies and gentlemen, Strafe back with some more World of Tanks, and today we are once again on the press account. I'm going to be using it to take a look at premium tanks that I don't normally own on my regular account, as well as just tanks in general that I don't own or may never own. I figure that that's a good way to utilize such access, but anyways, today we're going to take a look at the Japanese Tier 5 premium. This is the Type 3 Chinu Kai, and it is, of course, a medium tank. But we are playing this live. I want you to keep that in mind. I'm talking to you and playing this at the same time, which means that anything can happen. This could be a horrible game. It could be a boring game. It could be the most exciting game you've ever seen. This is how we're going to do premium tank first impressions or reviews, if you will. I think it's the best way to showcase the vehicle as to not make it look like a super tank or an absolutely horrible tank. This is it in its truest form, and I've got a KV-1 up front. Not sure where his turret's looking, but we're able to get some shots in. Let's see if we can get one into the lower glacis there with this gun. So the selling point to this tank, as with most vehicles, at this tier at least, will be the gun being a long barrel 75mm. And go figure, the last shot doesn't take him out, it misses. Now, as far as I know, most tier 5 mediums typically have short barrel guns. Whether it's a short barrel 75 or 76, or perhaps a 6-pounder gun, something that you might find on the Ram 2 or some of the Matildas in the game. I know the Russian Matilda, of course, has the 76. But in this case, you're dealing with a longer barrel, which means that you can reach out and touch someone. Might not be the most accurate thing on the planet, but it does get the job done. Gun depression isn't fantastic, and the armor is horrible. Speed, average 38 kilometers tops. And I'm going to try to put some suppression in on this guy. He's tracked. And wishing that he hadn't gone that way. Panzer. Let's see if he wants to peekaboo once again. Dealing with some spaced armor there. Just using standard ammo right now, but I do have some premium, as per what was already loaded on the press account. Haven't changed that over. And I don't think... Well, he is going to go for it. That's mostly armor spacing there. I wanted to see if I can maybe get in some sort of crazy shot. There we go. Yeah, that guy has seen better days. Matilda rolling up as well. So, accuracy, it's not horrible. Rate of fire, decent. Really, this type of tank, keep it in a hull down position. Your best armor is going to be on the turret, 75mm. Not really a huge slope on it. When you're tiered like I am now, you're going to be far more effective, obviously, but this thing can get into some really rough games where it might make you feel like you need to switch over to some premium, unless you can just aim all of your shots perfectly. So here we are at T49, causing some problems. Instead of backing up, I'm going to go forward in hopes that he'll miss some shots. And now that we've removed him of his speed, he's no longer a threat. And let's see if we can push forward with the rest of the team here. Looks like we've lucked out on this game. T-34 midline. You can see not the fastest tank on the planet. Enough to get you to where you need to go. Perhaps set up in some sort of sniping position. While not insanely accurate, I feel that I'm able to hit targets from a good ways out. So if you were really into something for the Japanese to maybe help your medium crews, then this might be your only option for now, or for a while at least. I don't know that it's necessarily something that I would spend my money on, even though it's really only $9.55 plus slot or 1,500 gold, depending on how you decide to purchase. I think it's one of those tanks that it sees the wrong kind of games more often than not, and you'll end up being at the bottom of the barrel where you feel like you need to use some premium ammo, and it has a tough time performing against those higher tiers, just because it's not fast enough to get out of their way, and the gun just ends up being really mediocre. See, in this match, this is a better match for us, but we don't always get these kinds of matches. However, I think that that's why it's really your only choice, for now at least. And while it's inexpensive, I just don't think it has that charm. You know, it's not a neat looking tank. It's not anything that I want to write home about. It's just kind of average or mediocre in many respects. And I think that, you know, with any tank in this game, you can make them all work. It's just, you know, what's going to cater to your play style. And hopefully we win with a capture here, because I know we have one at our flag and then one down the midline there. So he's going to go back and try to stop the Churchill. I think I'm just going to go work on the base at this point, or try to, because if he somehow affects the Churchill, then this is going to be our only shot. Now, I only have 480 hit points, which most of has been removed right now. So we've stopped that capture. And that's the game. So, not a bad little game there, actually. Actually, a fantastic game for me, really, in this thing. Considering I've played a couple just to get the feel of it. There's that. But let's get to some of the stats. Alright, so you're dealing with 50 millimeters hull armor. Not fantastic. 75 on the turret. A lot of the medium tanks you'll find have somewhere around 70, 75 hull armor. You're talking about the Matildas, but they're going to be a lot slower. They're doing like 25 or less. In regards to speed, you're doing 38.8 here, which isn't incredibly fast, but enough to get you to where you need to go, like I said before. Your armor, as you can see, not much of a slope, very, very subtle, and you can pretty much get hit anywhere. It's just not hard to take this thing out. So if you want armor, definitely don't look at this tank. But if you can keep her hull down, the gun's not bad. Long barrel 75, which you don't see a whole lot in regards to medium premiums. Again, a lot of short barrel 6-pounders. Let's see what we can look at. Again, we're talking tier 5, and we're only talking about mediums. So you've got Matilda here, which is going to have a 76. So in comparison, 75 on the Chi. We're going to want to go over to the, I think it's a Z96, yes, on the Russian Matilda. However, as you can see, you're just not getting as much power out of the gun, nor is it as accurate as the Chinu Kais. But in regards to some of the other nations, not much to look at there. Germany, I think T25 is probably one of your only options, but again, suffers in the accuracy department at 0.41. The ones that come to mind that I tend to see on a more regular basis in the premium world, Black Prince, but Black Prince, you know, you've got a lot of pesky armor, which can be effective, interestingly enough, at various ranges. But 6-pounder gun, high rate of fire. Americans, again, just talking about mediums. This is, of course, one that you won't see very often because it was a beta gift tank, but that's short barrel 75. Ram 2, 6-pounder gun, high rate of fire. So in the tier 5 world, this is the first time you're getting a longer barrel gun that might give you a bit more in terms of sniping potential. So if that's something that you're looking at, maybe. But again, gun depression is absolutely horrible, so don't put yourself into that type of situation where it would require something that has a good depression. Beyond that, I think we're going to get into another match and see what happens, because obviously that was one good match. We're bound to have a bad one. Again, we are playing this live so that you can really see this tank's potential. Now, here's a worst case scenario. Low man on the totem pole against some really rough tanks. AMX-4, M4, Tiger, Yog Panther, KV-1S even, and we only have 480 hit points, so we can't get hit. Although generally I try not to get hit in the first place in any tank, but it happens. This is World of Tanks. So we're going to want to check the spread. We want to see where the majority of the team rolls. Now again, this is not an expensive tank. 1,500 gold or $9.55 on the North American store, which also includes a garage slot. It's not expensive. And we don't know how long this is, going to be your only choice to help out your Japanese crews, but I guess it really just depends on how much you like Japanese tanks. For me, I think when I buy a premium tank, I look at a couple of different things. One, yes, do I look at the aesthetics? Is it a cool looking tank? Is it interesting to me in some way? Or is it funny looking? Is it fun? I don't know. There's some sort of charm that I think these premiums have to have in order to just be enjoyable. And this one doesn't really have it for me. I don't necessarily find it aesthetically pleasing. But beyond that, how does it perform? What is it going to do? Does it cater to my play style? In regards to the long-range combat, yes, it does cater to that style. Probably more so than a lot of the others that I have that are generally short barrel, such as the Ram 2. I own that tank on my regular account, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I think that the 6-pounders are very enjoyable. But is this enjoyable? Is it fun to drive around with this tank and maybe just put yourself somewhere that you can snipe? It really depends. In this type of match, we'll see how standard ammunition fares against these higher tier tanks. Right now, I'm thinking play it kind of like a tank destroyer, utilize cover, wait for some spotting, and hope that we can engage at range. So here's a target that I wasn't going to have an opportunity to shoot at, so I took the shot early, still didn't make a contact. And A43, I'm going to need to move forward here now, just because we've got a lot of people rolling up fast, and this game may be short depending. Well, now we're taking some losses. We're even 3-3. Sherman down. This A43 I was hoping would come from the right, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we've got people looking to charge, and then there's a KV-1. Oh, man, that's not really a great shot for me. The only thing you can hope for with a shot like that is that somehow it arcs down. And there's the lead, but no dice. 139. Again, just still using standard ammo. Maybe get something into the engine. Tracking him. Oh, that one just went high. And he's done. Alright, we've got some heavies rolling through, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm exposed on my left. I'm going to continue to move up with these guys so as to not be left alone. And it looks like we've got a Leopard here wanting to flank. And he's on fire. transmission gets lit up, but we're down. So there it looks like the Jagdpanther just had a great solution on us. We stopped to take a look at the Leopard, which unfortunately left us exposed. You can see the Jagdpanther there in the distance. Bad call on my part. I thought that I'd be able to handle the Leopard, and I should have just taken better cover in the buildings there. So easily eliminated. No threat to that Jagdpanther, that's for sure. But again, I just put myself too far out in the open, and again, it's just the second you're seen, you're dead in this tank. You need to be a sniper. And I know I say that about a lot of tanks, but that's normally my playstyle. But with this especially, 480 hit points, mobility's not fantastic. All you really have is that gun and an okay rate of fire. It's just nothing that's going to, you know, turn the tide. I would really suggest that you maintain more of a supportive role with your team when using this vehicle, just because it's not going to shine in this tiering. Pick your targets. Wait for those weak spots to appear. You know, let people scout for you, and then be there to track, and then just again hit those points of the tank that you think that you can penetrate with standard ammunition. If you have to, go ahead, load up some premium rounds and try to get the job done that way and hope for the best. But doesn't look like, well, let's see. Panther at 302 health, and then FV 304. Don't know how this is going to go over. I would say the enemy team is going to win this just because they're already on the cap. And Panther's probably going to get scouted out here, if not eliminated. .304, I think, is going to go for the AMX, but Panther's probably going to meet its demise here. He's not exactly in a position to finish this one for us. It would probably take that 304 doing something really crazy, and the Panther just getting super lucky with cover, but he's in such a bad spot right now. 304 engaging, and this will hopefully be it for the AMX. Can they somehow turn this around? Panther's gone. It's not like it's impossible, but it's not exactly one that I would be confident in winning right now. It's got that speed, though. And it looks like he's probably going to go for... Well, if he goes for a base capture, I think he might just wait for them. His best bet is to just hit him with a surprise attack. They know where he was last sighted, so they're probably going to move into that village there. And, well, at least one of them. One's going back to cap, which is probably the smart thing to do. Lure him out, not wait for too much longer. And I know this video is supposed to be about me looking at the Chinukai, but I can't help but wonder what's going to happen here. I'd like to see if the Shu can get a another kill in. AMX M4 spotted. Might come down to a joust here. Oh, broadside. Oh, looking at the back of him. Can he get the shot in? Oh, no! It's such... Oh, man. He didn't even take the time. I think he panicked there. Oh, he had such a great shot on him, too. The aim time probably would have been rough, but I think he just went for it. You know, it's just he had to take the shot. But, you know, he still probably did more than most of the team, I suppose, including myself. But not by much. So there's that. Not a fantastic game, but that was worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, you get into a game like that. You're still able to do damage, but you really have to pick targets. There's some tanks from the front that are tough to deal with, so then you might need to switch over to some premium ammunition. As far as loadout, something I haven't really spoken about too much, just ventilation and rammer. If you want to really invest in this thing, obviously GLD, maybe actually binoculars or coated optics would be best if you play it as a sniper, because your aim time's okay, so I would probably go with, you know, a telescope or something, just to sit back and chill and shoot there, because your signal range, or excuse me, your view range, it's only 350. You could probably use some help in that department. But there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more match just to see if this thing can cut it in any other type of game. So again, we're higher tier here. So I think with this map, I would typically say the 1 and 2 line is your best bet, just because it's going to be able to utilize that sniping potential. However, I don't usually favor that side. I suppose it depends on where the rest of the team rolls. So we'll see how many go that direction. Plus, it's slow going. Obviously, the terrain's a lot rougher there. And, okay, what's going to be the split, ladies and gents? Well, we actually have quite a few rolling in that direction, I think. It might be an even split. Wow, seriously? That's not actually, we could use some backup over here. Signaling on the minimap, calling for some help. I actually never see that many people go that way. That was weird. Well, we'll see how this goes. This is one of those games where we could possibly rush that end so fast that they don't know what hits them. It could be a really nice blitz, maybe. Shots fired over here. I'm not sure what's going on. We might be able to blitz them. And then if we can just hold this side here. Because right now it's just me, this guy, and a T-14, maybe a tank destroyer if they're not AFK. There's a couple guys just chilling at base. So this could... It's either going to be really good or really bad, I think, at this point, with the blitz on that side. I think I just want to try to find some cover, really. I definitely don't want to press beyond what allies I do have here, so... we are lit. By what? I have no idea. They do have arty. And there's a cruiser over there. So it would seem that they have a numbers advantage. The T-14 is taking fire. This is not really... Oh, just missed that shot. Put some rough rounds into me there. Fortunately, he's taken out by the... No. KV-220, I think, got him. Alright, already took some massive damage. And you're going to see this M4 come up, and this might be some lost gun depression by doing that, so we got to be very careful there. Try to fall back before he reloads again, and hope that my friends see this guy. But then there's this Panzer. I'm screwed. I'm pinched here. It's going to be really tough to get through. Yeah, so that's just that game. Unfortunately, outnumbered. If anything, maybe I could have held a position in the back of the map, but as you can see, our team just got absolutely crushed. The 1-2 line attack was not successful. It looks like everybody stopped here. It was not a blitz. Had they had gone through with a blitz, maybe. But everybody, it looked like, just stopped and then had a hill battle. And then we just got taken here where we didn't have enough tanks. But again, guys, these videos here where we do reviews or first impressions, second, third impressions of tanks, they're natural games. This is what happens. This is World of Tanks. This is what we deal with on an everyday basis. So, excuse me, a daily basis. And I think it's the best way to show these things, you know, for better or worse. We had a fantastic game, and we had some really crummy games as well. That's just the way it is. And you can see here that I scored top damage, or excuse me, second in damage, but on the top of the list. And that goes to show you that, considering how poorly I played that match, that is just one of those games where we had a bad team. No offense. Maybe these guys just had, you know, some bad luck, but everybody went one direction, and it didn't work out for us. That's just the way it is. And no matter how much money you spend on a premium tank, it doesn't mean it's going to save the day, especially not in the Type 3 Chi-Nu Kai. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, final opinion on the Chi-Nu Kai. Is this something that I would purchase for myself? No, probably not. One, because I'm not all that interested in the Japanese tanks, but mostly because it just feels very bland to me. It's not the worst premium that I've ever played with, because the gun actually works, and that to me is one of the most important things in the game. I can deal with the lack of mobility, but if you don't have a gun that does anything, then, well, what good are you? But as you can see here in the tech tree, there's not a whole lot to choose from in regards to a premium. And, well, it's still early. This was the last nation to be added, so I'm sure we'll see some higher tier tanks later on, and probably of different weights. But for now, if you're really serious about your Japanese tanks and you want to help train your crew, this might be your only option, but it's not the worst. You just got to be good with the gun and not take too much damage, which can be hard because the tiering could probably use some preferential treatment. But beyond that, I am looking forward to taking a look at some of these other Japanese mediums. I hear that they have some really great depression, and hopefully they won't depress me, and we can have some fun with them. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I will definitely see you on the next one.